My youngest daughter Rachel called me yesterday for the first time in 8 months. I saw her name on the screen and my hands started shaking. I thought maybe she was finally ready to talk, to listen, to understand. But she was just calling to tell me she's moving to Portland and wanted me to know in case something happened and someone needed to reach her. The conversation lasted 2 minutes. I'm Robert. I'm 82 years old and I have 3 children who won't talk to me. Not because I hurt them, not because I left, not because I failed to provide. I sacrificed everything for those kids. I gave them every opportunity I never had. And somehow, that's exactly why they're gone. I grew up with nothing. My father was a drunk who spent more time at the bar than at home. We wore second-hand clothes, ate government cheese, lived in a house where the heat didn't always work. I remember being 12 years old, wearing shoes with holes in them to school, and kids laughing. I swore to myself that my children would never know that shame, that struggle, that fear of not having enough. When I married Linda in 1966, I made her a promise. Our kids would have everything, every advantage, every opportunity, every comfort. And I kept that promise. I worked 60, 70, sometimes 80 hours a week. I had a day job at the steel mill and took night shifts doing security. Weekends I did odd jobs, roofing, painting, whatever paid. Linda would pack my dinner and I'd eat it cold in the car between shifts. I'd come home after the kids were asleep and leave before they woke up. But every month, the bills got paid. Every year we moved to a better neighborhood. Every birthday, every Christmas, they got what they wanted. My oldest son Michael wanted to play hockey. Do you know what hockey costs? The equipment alone was more than I made in a month. But I found a way. I picked up extra shifts, sold my fishing boat, the one thing I had for myself. Michael made the team. I missed most of his games because I was working, but he had the best equipment, the private coaching, everything the other kids had. When he got recruited to play college hockey, I took out a second mortgage to pay for it. Linda asked if we could afford it. I told her we'd figure it out. We always did. My middle child Sarah wanted to go to art school. Art school. Do you understand what that costs? But I wasn't going to be the father who told his daughter she couldn't follow her dreams because of money. So I worked more. I delayed my own retirement. I cashed out my savings. Sarah graduated with a degree in fine arts and moved to New York. She calls maybe twice a year now. Always brief, always distant. I asked her once why she never comes home. She said there's nothing for her here. I wanted to tell her I'm here, but I didn't. Rachel, my youngest, she was the one who needed the most. Learning disabilities, therapy, tutors, special programs. The costs never stopped. Linda wanted to spend more time with her, help her herself, but I said no. I said we'll get her the best help money can buy. And we did. Rachel graduated high school, went to college, got a good job, and now she's moving to Portland without even asking if I'd like to visit first. Linda died 3 years ago. Stroke. 1 minute she was making dinner, the next she was on the floor. I found her when I came home from the hardware store. The paramedics said it was quick, that she didn't suffer, but I wonder about that. I wonder if she suffered in all the years before, in all the evenings she sat alone, in all the conversations we never had because I was too tired, or too worried about money, or too focused on making sure the kids had what they needed. After the funeral, Michael stayed for 2 days. Sarah came for the service and left the next morning. Rachel helped me sort through Linda's things, and that's when she said it. We were in the bedroom, packing up Linda's clothes, and Rachel picked up a photo from the nightstand. It was from our 25th anniversary. Linda and I at some restaurant I'd picked because it was having a special. We look happy in the photo, but I remember that night. I remember being distracted, worried about Michael's tuition payment that was due, barely listening to Linda talk about wanting to take a trip together. Just the two of us. I'd said maybe next year. There was never a next year. Rachel looked at that photo for a long time. Then she said, "Mom was lonely, Dad. Her whole life she was lonely. I told her that wasn't true. I told her Linda had everything she needed, that I worked hard to make sure she never wanted for anything. Rachel put the photo down and looked at me with something I'd never seen before in her eyes. Pity. She said, "That's the problem, Dad. You still don't understand." I didn't understand. Not then. But I've had 3 years to think about it. 3 years in this house by myself, and I'm starting to see what Rachel meant. What Linda needed wasn't a bigger house, or a nicer car, or children with college degrees. What she needed was me. Not my paycheck, not my sacrifice, not my exhaustion. Me present, engaged. Actually there. I was so afraid of failing my children, the way my father failed me, that I became a different kind of absent. My father was gone because he chose the bar over us. I was gone because I chose work over them. The result was the same. They grew up without a father. They just grew up without one in a nicer house. Michael got married 4 years ago. I wasn't invited to the wedding. He sent me a text message the week after with a photo. He said it was a small ceremony, immediate family only. I wanted to ask him why I didn't count as immediate family, but I already knew the answer. You can't be immediate to people you were never present for. I have 6 grandchildren I've never met. Michael has 3, Sarah has 2, Rachel has 1. I see their photos on social media sometimes. Michael's wife posts pictures of their family camping trips, birthday parties, ordinary moments that look extraordinary because everyone's together and happy. I wonder if Michael remembers that we never took camping trips. I wonder if he's being the father to his kids that I wasn't to him. I hope he is. There's a storage unit about 20 minutes from here. I've been paying for it for 15 years. It's full of things I bought for the kids over the years, things they left behind when they moved out and never came back for. Michael's hockey trophies, Sarah's art supplies, Rachel's childhood books. I go there sometimes and just sit among all these things I sacrificed so much to give them, and I try to remember if any of it made them happy. I can remember their faces when they opened presents. I can remember their excitement, their thank yous, but I can't remember them actually being happy. Not the deep kind of happy that comes from feeling loved and known and safe. The kind of happy that doesn't require anything to be bought. Last month I ran into an old co-worker at the grocery store. Frank, same guy I worked with for 30 years. He asked about the kids. I lied. I said they're doing great. Very busy. Successful. He told me about his daughter, how she comes over every Sunday for dinner with his grandkids, how they're planning a trip together next summer. I stood there holding my basket with a frozen dinner in it, listening to him talk about this full connected life, and I felt something break inside me. Envy. I envied Frank. Frank who made half what I did, who worked reasonable hours, who took his vacation days, who was home for dinner. Frank who has grandchildren, who know his name. The thing is, I did everything right according to the rules I learned. Work hard, provide for your family, give them opportunities, sacrifice for their future. Those were the rules. My father failed at all of them, and I succeeded. I worked harder than he ever did. I provided more than he ever could. My children had opportunities he couldn't have imagined giving me, and yet somehow, I still ended up here, alone in a house that's too big, with children who are strangers, waiting for phone calls that don't come. Linda used to tell me to slow down. She'd say the kids don't need more things, they need more of you. I'd tell her she didn't understand how hard I was working, how much it cost to give them the life we wanted for them. She'd go quiet after that. I thought I'd won the argument. I didn't realize I was losing everything that mattered. There was this one Saturday. I remember it clearly. Rachel must have been 7 or 8. She'd drawn a picture at school, won some kind of award. Linda said Rachel wanted to show me, wanted me to come to this little ceremony at the school. But I had a roofing job that weekend that paid double. I told Linda to take a video, that I'd watch it later. I never did watch it. I wonder if Rachel remembers that. I wonder how many moments like that I missed while I was busy, making sure we could afford the house in the good school district. You know what the cruel joke is? All that sacrifice, all that work, all those missed moments, they weren't even necessary. My kids would have been fine in a smaller house. They would have been fine with less expensive sports, with state schools instead of private ones, with art supplies from the discount store. They would have been fine with less of everything except me. But I was so determined not to repeat my father's failures that I couldn't see I was creating my own. If I could go back, I wouldn't work less hard. I'd work differently. I'd be there for the hockey games, even if Michael's equipment wasn't the newest. I'd be there for Rachel's award ceremony, even if it meant missing the overtime pay. I'd be there for Sarah's art shows, for Linda's attempts at conversation, for all the ordinary moments that seemed less important than providing, but turned out to be the only things that actually mattered. But I can't go back. I'm 82 years old. I live alone in a house full of furniture I bought to impress people who stopped visiting. I have a retirement account I'll never spend because I have no one to spend it with. I succeeded at everything I thought mattered and failed at the only thing that did. My children don't hate me. I think it would be easier if they did. Hate is a connection, something to work with. What I get from them is polite distance, brief phone calls on obligatory holidays, cards that say thinking of you but never missing you or wish we could see you. They're courteous because I raised them to be courteous, but they're not connected to me because I never taught them how. So to anyone watching this who's working those extra hours, missing those dinners, choosing the paycheck over the presents, I'm telling you, I'm begging you, stop. Your kids don't need another toy, another lesson, another opportunity. They need you, not your money, not your sacrifice. You, messy, tired, imperfect. But there, actually there. The saddest part is I thought I was being a good father. I genuinely believed that providing, sacrificing, working myself into exhaustion was what love looked like. I looked at my own father's failures and swore I'd be different. I was different. I was reliably absent, instead of unreliably drunk. I was there in theory, in bank accounts and mortgage payments and tuition checks, but I wasn't there in the ways that would have made them want to call me now. It's too late for me to fix this. My children are grown. Their lives are established without me in them. Maybe someday, one of them will soften, will reach out, will give me a chance to know my grandchildren. But I'm not counting on it. I don't blame them for keeping their distance. I taught them by my absence that distance was normal. I'm just living in the world I created. If Linda were still here, maybe things would be different. She was the bridge between me and the kids, the one who translated my exhaustion into love, who explained to them that Daddy was working for them. But without her, there's nothing connecting us. Just the memory of a man who was rarely home, and 3 children who learned to stop expecting him to be. I look at the life I built, and I see its emptiness. I see the price of every sacrifice I made, and it turns out the price was everything that mattered. I wanted to give my children the world. Instead, I gave them everything except myself. And it turns out that was the one thing they actually needed.